You happy?
My friend. There's no
Grab a picture.
Last year, when Jason Doyle reached out to discuss the possibility of a made-to-measure Perazzi, both John and I saw an ideal opportunity to revisit the factory and get Jason's perspective on the process. Join us as we share the journey and gain some new insight on the experience. You're an old hand at this, so you were Perazzi, you've come away from Perazzi, now you're going back. You kind of know what you want from the gun?
I know what I want from the gun just through my own trial and error, but what I want from this is to kind of find out the reasons why I know I want certain things.
I understand.
I have no idea what specifically makes Perazzi do what it does.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to dig a bit deeper in. Like I know that the lightest recoiling gun I've ever had was a Perazzi. The best triggers run a Perazzi, and I didn't have a leaf spring one. It was just an MX-12.
Cool. Yeah.
But I think the gun I bought was off the shelf as well. It was secondhand, so I know there's probably more to be got out of the brand by coming and doing this. So that's why I wanted to sort of come with yourselves to get your experience from it as well. Like I know the dimensions of a stock I'll shoot best with and that I'm comfortable with in every situation, whether it's game shooting or clay shooting. But going forward with steel and potentially moving to 3-inch cartridges in steel, I want a gun that I know that will be future-proof and that isn't going to kick me about in years to come, and that's what I want to get out of the brand and out of this experience.
So like the barrel specs and whatnot that we've set up, it obviously goes on the length of the barrels and that type of thing, but obviously the blank that we pick, if you were shooting a 28-inch, open side ribs, real light, we could pick a blank that's super light, light in weight.
Yeah.
So tomorrow when we'll go in the wood room, we'll just have a browse, you pick off blanks that you like the look of, and then it's dead easy, just feel the weight of them. Yeah. And obviously we want to go, and if you're wanting something not to recoil, generally a plainer looking blank is heavier, denser.
Yeah.
It's that balancing act between the extremely pretty and the right bit of wood to balance the gun for you.
Yeah.
We want it really pretty at the back, dead straight at the front.
Well, my other thing as well is I know how I like a gun to balance, and I know some people say that a gun should balance behind the pin. I like it slightly forward.
Right.
But when you're buying a second-hand gun off the shelf, you don't really have that option except to change it afterwards. But going here now to be able to pick the wood that's going to give the best balance and the best weight distribution and recoil absorption for the style I like. I mean, the weight is sort of irrelevant. The weight of the finished gun is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's just the balance point I know I want, and just something that's going to absorb recoil.
So plan is, we've kind of come out of the tunnel. We'll go to the bench and we'll tell them oil finish, what pad choice you want, what forend, what grip, whether you want a palm swell. Bits like a palm swell, I always quite like a one myself because I think it, really, really fits your hand, and I think that helps sort of lock your hand into the stock as well.
Indexes that grip on the gun, doesn't it?
But even if you're not sure on that, put it on, and it can always get filed back off.
Yeah.
And I think that's why as well, sometimes when you're on the first fit, if it is a touch high in a pattern, don't worry. It's just you don't want to start off with it too low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've done that. We've picked the wood. The other guys' guns might be ready before yours. We might be back the next day. I'm not too sure. It just depends how busy the factory is, and that's why I want to get up first thing in the morning and get there, so we've got the most amount of time.
They'll have, like in a day and a half that we're going to have, we'll be able to go into that much detail and that much depth with the fit, and if I decide I don't want something, they can change there and then. That's That's all doable.
The gun goes backwards and forwards during that sort of final fit. After you've had the initial fit, the gun's backward and forwards over the bench numerous times, where you're making these tiny little adjustments or even big adjustments. You know what I mean? There's a conversation that you're having with Fabrizio and the guy, and he's then having with the guy who's doing all the filing and stuff. It's a really cool.
The first fit might just feel a bit like 100 mile an hour, but it's a second fit where you've really got to think, because it's that when you're actually altering the stock. So if you come back, I like to try and break it down into the height first. So they give you the gun, and you're looking at the wood. Oh yeah, it's come out great, whatever. Shoot it down the tunnel. Forget about the grip in the forend, and just concentrate on getting them patterns bang in the middle. And I'm just going to be watching for you, shaking and squashing your head in really, really tight, because you don't do that when you're shooting a clear or whatever, a loop across the sky. You don't lock in that tight. And obviously for your head position, you know, if you're like that or like that, it's two different mounts and two different heights of comb. I like to get the pattern done first, sort the height out. And the thing not to get too nervy about is, you know, you might do it and it might be high. You might say, right, well, we'll lower it. You know, you've got to give it back to them, and they'll lower it a mil. And you come back in, shoot it again. You might have to lower it again. And you might go back and forward a few times. And it's, you know, if you say it's right on the day, it's right. So it's only you can kind of say, I can help you and think, well, I think it is a bit higher, or I think it, you know, there's something not quite right. So once the height's sorted, then we'll tackle the grip. But I like to do that second, just because sometimes when you're feeling the actual recoil through the gun, it's a bit different just to stand and having your hand held around it. And a lot of the time I find they're too chunky when you first get them. So really it's the second fit is when you've really got to think about grip, fore-end shape. So if you've asked for a beaver tail fore-end, which I think we might go for what you're saying, like a slim one, you know, the line of your finger, is it wrapping round on the grip? Does it need cutting in any? Does it need your hand to roll over the top? So, you know, we'll go through all that there and then.
Okay. So it's like a checklist, and you finish one thing completely before you move on to the next thing.
That's the way I kind of like to do it.
That makes sense, because one thing could be affecting another thing. So if you get...
Yeah.
Well, if you nail the broad strokes of the fit like John does, where he kind of nails that comb height and that first, the rest of the stuff kind of fits around it. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. That shouldn't change. So it stops you from being kind of all over the place during that moment.
It is fairly slow, because when you're altering the stock, you're kind of giving it over to the bench, to the stocker to do work on it, and you just kind of stand there waiting. And that's why I like to do it in a sort of day and a half. You could probably do it in a day, but you know, you don't want that deadline of 5 p.m. We've got to get to the airport. You do need that buffer.
Yeah. No, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't want to rush it and not give it the best attention that it deserves.
And I think, you know, like yourself, I'm not saying you've got to be a level to come to Perazzi. You know, we'll take anybody, but you have got to be consistent in your gun mount. If that is an issue with you, there's stuff that can be done, you know, like a parallel comb and other little bits of tricks that can be done to help you make you more consistent. But, you know, if you're mounting it on your arm, you know, we can try and say that to the customer 6 months before we've even gone, be brutal and say, you need to work on your mount, your technique here. Some people say, well, that's the way I've shot for 30 years and that's why I'm getting it fitted. But
even like where you've got people who do have unconventional mounts, maybe that works for them. You know what I mean? At least if they're consistent with doing it.
Yeah. The key is, if you say it's right on the day, it's right on the day. So there is a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah. If you say it's right, and that's the gun that we've made for you. You know.
But we've kind of I've got measurements for you already wrote down from your previous guns, and we've got all the little checklist done. So we'll just run through that tomorrow.
Well, for me, spending the half day or whatever it was in your shop with the guys going through all the stocks and the forends and the grips that you had.
Well, it's
on
easy
site.
to see what you don't like, isn't it?
Well, it's because there was no time pressure then.
Yeah.
I had a very good idea very quickly of what felt right.
Yeah.
And even down to the finishes of the stock, I already knew then there was going to be no discussion when we got here about whether it's oil or lacquer. Yeah. All that was boxed off, and I know what sort of style of pistol grip I want, and I know where I want the palm swell, because a palm swell in the wrong place is so obvious. It's so obvious. So all that has already been boxed off. So now, as you say, it's just concentrating on my gun mount and the height and picking the wood and the fun stuff.
At the end of the day, it's got to be right. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you've got to invest the time in picking that stuff and going through that process.
Yeah.
But I mean, you say the fun stuff. It is fun. Absolutely. You know what I mean? You have to do a job, but
80% of why I'm here is for the experience of seeing the factory, seeing the wood room, and all the rest, and the fact that you can come and do it at no extra cost other than the trip itself.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Like, I mean, and then the fact that you can change the minute details and have a completely bespoke gun, and probably bespoke in a way that nobody else would notice, but I'll know the details are there.
You're not getting your name signed in the stock.
Not getting
Getting
anything.
my name signed in the stock.
Nothing in the stock.
Oh, okay, well, I tell you what, sick buckets.
But no, it just makes sense that when you get to a point where you know what you want from a gun, and that you can't quite find that off the shelf, it just makes sense to come and do it.
Yeah, so not too late tonight.
Absolutely not.
Allora,
So we want a game gun?
Game sporter, gun to do everything.
Yeah.
games no.
Yeah. Can we maybe set two tri guns up, one with drop and one with a Monte Carlo?
Like before.
Like before, yeah. All these, by the way, have got just a dummy trigger in, so that they're all, obviously they're empty, but the triggers are just a dummy, so, you know, he's
Okay.
going to be looking down the barrel.
No, but like I say, I know myself that if I look at something and bring the gun up, that's where and then hold that position and then have a, drop my eye, then I'll know where I really am rather than kind of going,
Squashing it.
yeah.
The other thing, Jason, as well, when you watch some guys come here, they mount like that with a head rolled right forward, like almost an Italian style. And if you do it like that, you need a lot higher cone than what you do mount like that. Like a straighter up in a position.
Okay, this is like Italian style. Eh?
Okay.
So just down at the door somewhere. Yep.
Okay.
So sometimes when he's mounting this up, you just mount it with a screwdriver and you may move it and try and get you to track it as well.
Okay. That was too high.
Bella.
It's too high.
Yeah.
To a degree, you've just got to humour them a little bit, because they're not going to make it too low. You know, they're always going to want to make it a little bit high, and then when we come back this afternoon or tomorrow, whenever it's going to be ready, that's the time when we need to say we want it lower and lower and lower. But I think he has put lower spaces in, hasn't he? Mounted the screwdriver. Again, Jason, just take the gun, do it again. Come down to my right eye. Yeah, and then again, just mount it at the door. Right. Just looking at that, just a little bit concerned.
It's low the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like that.
It just looks as though it's maybe coming up like the bottom of your armpit, for a better word. And I think he's trying to put the chrome up a little bit.
It didn't, where it was hitting my shoulder didn't feel great, but the height felt good. I'd like the foot probably raise it, yeah.
There you go.
Yes. Perfect.
Just do a couple of mounts on Jason. Just take the gun down as though you're putting it on your foot. You know, and just like reset yourself.
Yeah.
And then close it up and mount it again.
Not much drop, eh?
Not much drop, no.
I still feel like this wants to be a bit higher, I would have thought.
Right.
Maybe not.
At the door handle. I'm not sure if it goes much higher, the pad might come out the top of your shoulder.
Okay.
But this stock has a little bit of drop in.
I want to try it a little bit too long. Sorry.
So that's 380. And if you look, the old guns, what were even longer, they were 15 mil longer.
Yeah, okay.
So you see, it's got the spaces in like that. He's putting a little bit of pitch on.
Okay. Yeah, something just, I don't know what it is, but something just doesn't feel like it's contacting the spot on. The height looks bob on. How is my mount, Lucas?
Right, yeah. I'm saying you mount quite wide.
Yeah.
But you
But
know,
I've
here's
always
not
done
that's not the place to change your shooting style in here.
I have tried to change it, but I can't. I can do it when I really think about it, but
Yeah,
you
just-
can't do that when you're.
Natural.
Ooh, that's heavier now. Oh yeah. That feels a lot better.
Can we make up a Monte Carlo?
Monte Carlo, parallel.
Yeah, parallel. Looking down it looks perfect. But I would just like you to see this for the.
Yeah.
This is quite difficult now. You just need to see the feel different in that little Monte Carlo. That when I'm watching you, you do pull your head quite far forward. Where what you might notice on this one is because there's going to be a little step there, it might make you go up a little bit and stop you coming as far forward.
Okay.
What do you think? You feeling any different or not? Hard to say.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Fabrizio, how much low on you?
1 centimeter and a half.
Yeah. It's only 15 mil of drop in a Monte Carlo there.
Okay.
Not very much.
It's not really a Monte Carlo then.
Well, is it still parallel?
Parallel.
Still parallel, so. I mean,
Sorry.
you're looking bang down it, but we need to just try it on the board anyway. That's even less now, so it's even more of a parallel come. So you think it's better just straight parallel, no Monte Carlo?
Little bit Monte Carlo is obligatory. Without look, sorry. Without Monte Carlo, I think the current bag is outside the soldier.
It's going to come up, yeah. So you just said there that without Monte Carlo, he thinks that the stock's going to come well up in your shoulder.
Okay.
So here the pad's just coming about the shoulder, so you're not getting the full surface area of the pad in your shoulder for the recoil. If this is dropped down a little bit to make it into a little bit of a stepped sort of Monte Carlo style stock, it's going to help the recoil. But that's a different mount.
Yeah.
It's
So
just a
that's-
consistency, but there you go. Yeah, 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 down.
So that's my gun mount or my body shape that's causing that.
Not too used to. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just your mount. You mount quite wide on your arm, and the only thing I noticed is the guys who wrote down here you want a flat pad. I'm not sure. Maybe the flat pad's going to be best for you. I would say one with a little bit of a curve in.
Okay.
If you mount it well on your chest, the flat's okay. That's definitely better. It is better.
So that'll help with recoil then because you have more contact.
It's a bit artificial, but let's just go and watch you shoot it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when you're actually banging in the tunnel, I'm just going to be watching for that coming up and down. Right?
Okay.
Can we shoot it? I think. What do you think? Like this style or the one with the drop in? The only thing I would say is for a game gun, it looks maybe more gamey because it's a slimmer profile of that drop in. Where when you have that little bump in,
What's like? Is one right and one wrong for me from what you see?
I wouldn't have said so. Better for him, Monte Carlo, or with drop-in?
It's only question the look only.
So it's just like what I was saying, it's just a look. So it's going to be slopey, looks fine, being like a traditional sort of looking game.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer that.
Right.
There's no benefit shooting-wise to the Monte Carlo.
Benefit, see.
It
This is better.
does, because you have no drop in, so no matter where you put your head, it's going to be the same height. So if you mount your head right at the front with a shot like this, it's the same height as what it does if you mount right at the back.
And when on the finished stock, how much of a Monte Carlo is there? Is it only going to be a tiny little?
10mm.
Is it going to look shite like that, or?
Go and have a look. We'll try and find one. Try and find one in the showroom.
Come with me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how much?
Also,
This is 1 centimeter, maximum 12 millimeter.
Yeah, that looks fine.
Like this, I probably think when we're watching you, when you were the stock like this, would you agree it was maybe more like that, and then maybe more square up a little bit?
Change it
I
to
feel
maybe
with
3
Monte
millimeter.
Carlo, it is coming up to my face quicker. Like it's higher. And as I said before, because I close my left eye, being able to keep my head more upright, this eye is obviously
Helps a bit of vision.
well. It helps with a bit of vision because you're not sort of sheltering.
No, the vision is better, no Monte Carlo, cioè no parallel.
No, yeah.
Eh?
No,
It's different.
it's a little step.
Yeah, that looks fine.
For the vision, it's better no parallel. Okay. Parallel, when you put the face here, you look my eyes. Okay?
Yeah.
With the drop, not like this. This is different, very different.
Why don't we just shoot that Monte Carlo one first and see what it feels like recoil-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see what it patterns it.
Well, to be honest, I'm happy with the aesthetic. I know that shouldn't really matter, but it does.
Mine's a Monte.
I was just worried if it was going to be tiny Monte Carlo, it would just look a bit
Weird.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of it? Even though functionally there would be a point. The aesthetic is also.
Will it hit the board?
It's quite nerve-wracking.
It is, and then what you haven't got to get too nervous about is it might take a few alterations to get it back on. Looks good in the end. Yeah. Oh, missed the bin. Bounce back.
Second shot pulled it left.
You think?
Yeah.
So look.
Say the second shot is going to be slightly high and slightly left. First shot, I don't know. Trigger caught me on the first shot. It's a light trigger on that, but it felt good.
No, you can carry on and do more and more,
No,
but I don't really know what else we're going to achieve.
Can't improve on perfection, can you?
Shut up, actually. If I mean, it's awkward amount, but I watched both the times you were perfect in your show.
Yeah. What's that about? 80-20? 70-30?
No, 40-60.
All right, okay.
35-65.
Okay.
Right, let's do the rest.
That's lower.
There?
That's lower.
Lower.
Feels lower anyway.
It's hard to say.
Same pattern. Like uncomfortable or just different?
Doesn't feel any less comfortable, just feels different.
We'll see what it shoots like.
Yeah.
If you'll feel it in the shoulder, you'll.
Do you know last night when you couldn't decide on a pizza and you knew you were going to be a troublemaker?
Difference the drop like this or like this is the position of your face. With much drop, face is you have more such vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you mount the gun with the parallel, your face is like this. You have less vision. Only this. But with parallel, if you mount the gun here and here, not change.
Yeah, so he's saying this gives better vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Fabrizio, you're saying with drop gives him more vision,
I see.
yeah, and with Monte Carlo more like that.
Yes.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, John, if you have 5-6 centimeter millimeter drop, it's not.
Not a lot.
But 2 centimeter Monte Carlo, 2 centimeter and a half, and the drop 2 centimeter half, it's very different. The problem is more drop, more kick.
In the face, yeah. And how much drop is that?
This
Yeah.
1.5.
Oh, not much. Notice any difference or not? It's not low, like, is it?
Oh.
There's only 1.5 centimetres of drop in this anyway. There's not a lot.
If I'm honest, this feels more natural.
There's more narrow.
Yeah. And I don't know why.
This is more natural.
Feels.
Cannot touch here. Okay, it's drop. With parallel, this is a little bit too up, a touch here. With the drop, touch only here,
Okay.
not here.
And does that make a difference for recoil?
Little bit more recoil with this, with the drop. Little, not too much, but
In your
little.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This just feels just different, but a little bit more natural. Not.
Ah,
Not
Two
as-
more? Two more shots?
no problem.
Yeah, two more.
Can I try two more?
Yeah,
rounds?
yeah.
Okay. Sorry to.
No,
That's strange because that felt.
I'll just stand here, Jess. Just don't hit me.
The Monte Carlo felt fine, but to shoot this just feels a little bit more.
Do you think that's going to be a safer bet because you're unsure about the looks of that one having the bump in?
I think that's something I need to think about. I need to weigh up the pros and cons. But just mounting that and shooting just feels a little bit more intuitive than the Monte Carlo.
Right.
And I don't know what. Maybe it's as he says. It's because there's more contact with the face. Just doesn't feel quite the same.
Okay. You smile up. I mean, it's your decision. I think if you were worse with your gun mount, it would be much easier decision because you would say that stock's going to help you more, being
Yeah.
no difference in the height and whatnot. I just whichever one feels better for you. So if you were more inconsistent, it would be clear cut that. It just does this feel better to shoot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I don't know why. It just feels more natural. Yeah, that to me just, as I said, I can't describe what the difference is, but it just feels just more natural.
This one then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, this one. Good, happy?
You agree? You think this is the right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Parallel, it's okay if you have the problem, you mount here or mount here. But for the comfortable, this is another word for me. Eh?
Yeah. Okay. I think as well, because I shot for 20 odd years with a stock with drop in it, it just feels
And he's very consistent, isn't he? You know, he's very much the same every time.
See, your position is perfect. You mount the gun.
Oh, don't tell him that.
No.
We'll leave that in the video, Alan.
Now here you mount the gun 10 times, and you mount the gun 10 times same.
okay. It's just when you give me a moving target, I can't hit the fucking thing.
Okay, the money after.
Is that longer or
Longer.
Longer. Okay.
Better.
It's funny, even though there's no palm swell on that, the shape to it actually feels nice in the hand.
Okay.
It does.
But we can always put a palm swell on and take it back off
Yeah.
of it.
No, it's just a comment. It feels nicer than most guns do that don't have palm swells, if that makes sense.
Right.
It's just a nice shape to the grip.
I mean, all you want is you just want the pad of your finger with good contact on there. If it's too far through, you haven't got as much movement.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not there to release that second shot. And obviously, you know, don't want it on the tip of your finger. It looks fine, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. 6 and 12, so like a standard gun would be maybe 4 and 8 or 5 and 10. Right, these are all the 4 ends.
Yeah.
But back home, you preferred that's a slim sport beaver tail, and that's just a broader beaver tail. And you can feel on this one it has more of a pronounced harsher line.
This is what I picked, I think.
Yeah. But a high tech would have this design. It's whether you want that high tech styling or that rounded. That one. I mean, it's an easy choice. It's just you don't want to have a look through all of them and kind of try and work them out. Some of them you just rule out straight away. Right. High tech? No. Round?
Yeah.
Rounded. And then pad choice.
I preferred the flat pad, but you said a curved pad would help me.
Well, I just think sometimes if it's on in your mounting it in here, a flat pad, but I just wonder whether when it's on your mount quite wide here, do you think yourself maybe there's not much of a dish in there, you know?
I don't know.
I mean that's the pad. I mean if the pad choice is we can always change the pad at a later date. Fabrizio, we see a flat pad as well. So these, I mean, just feel it. That's a 13 mil. This is like a yeah.
Well, what do you think for my gun mount? Flat or curved?
Flat is perfect if you mount the gun here.
Okay.
If you mount the gun here, no.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
we'd rehearse that, wouldn't you? Right, my thoughts on these. Looks far neater with a shorter on. And obviously a longer pad has more give, so if you suffer recoil and you're going to be banging big loads through it, that is softer.
Would you ever notice the difference?
Nah, I never really do.
You can always put a longer one on, can't you?
You can always put a longer one on. If you think, oh god, it's too short or something not quite right, you can always lengthen it and it's still not going to look out of place with that thickness of pad on. I just think it's up to you. Can we say with leather, please? Leather? Yeah. So there's 2 density pad options here. There's the hard one, which is really hard. And these are the soft pads, so that's a hard pad. It has no give at all. With the leather, I think it's fine if you maybe shoot in like a sneak vest, you know, with like suede patches on.
Yeah.
But when you don't, you know, they do slip up nice into your shoulder. But for somebody's driven, they're all quite slippy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Where that is a bit of like a hybrid between the grippy rubber. Then
I think the safer bet I'll go for this, just if I'm using heavy steel loads.
in the bigger one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad.
That does look better, but I think
Yeah.
safer option.
And take my advice.
That one. Don't want leather.
We're like them glued, not screwed.
Okay.
Yeah. This pad. Yeah. And varnished, lacquer finished. With
No laser?
no leather.
No leather.
No leather. And with palm swell. Yeah. Right.
Face parting the piece of your car.
So like a UK sporting grip.
It's changing the different.
Yeah. So you know the high-tech styling where it has that curve,
Don't want that.
right? None.
None.
No writing, no
No
high-tech.
writing,
Right. Okay. No high-tech styling, no writing, no line. Yeah?
No line.
No. No. And you know on like the side of the cheeks of the stock where it sweeps down, do you like that or do you like Fabrizio? Right.
That's basically, I wanted that.
Can we have it like that?
See? No,
Yeah.
no high tech.
No high-tech.
I don't know. Like this is a little bit too small. High tech is.
Okay, we'll have a look. Yeah. You think
Another you want? Okay.
so? Not like that.
I ask with my friend. Only 1 second, John.
I'm not sure whether with these being a wider action.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
If it can't, it can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not the end of the world by any means. But I just don't want that or that.
Let's go and see what you can do. And whether you might be able to do that first and then try and take it out.
No, that it would be the most minor of the styling.
Okay, it's possible.
Possible? Yeah,
Perfect.
good. And then it's like 11 o'clock now, so let's just go and try and pick this wood.
Big stuff, okay, no, just.
Big stock, yeah. You can see these sheets get kind of scribbled on all over the place. I quite like to take a photo of this when we get it finished as well.
Yeah.
So the palm swell, it likes it quite low down. Yeah.
See?
No, so this is 3/4 and full, and you want it half and half, don't you?
At what point? Up to what point can you change that?
Now,
I think I'd go a quarter to be fair.
right.
It's just that I shoot less choke rather than more choke.
Right. Fabrizio, can we change the choke to 4 and 4? Four.
Yeah.
That's quite wide.
Quarter, isn't it?
With all you shoot. Yeah.
I'd rather hit all the close ones. I'm a firm believer that at my level of play shooting as well, out of a round of 100, I'll have a better score with less choke than choking up for those couple of birds that are.
So what do you do? Do you change to like 6.5 for long range stuff or anything? No, just shoot them.
long range stuff, the choke isn't going to be the limiting factor. It's going to be my skill. So I'd rather give myself all the advantage I can on the close stuff. Like most stuff you're shooting is under 25, 30 yards, and it's some of it's quite technical. So as much pattern as possible is going to help you. But I've done it the last couple of years. I've gone since I've had multi-choke in the Rizzinis. I've been shooting a lot of cylinder, and at the end of a round of glaze, your score will be higher than if you focused on those couple of.
I know. It might be. I don't know if they're going to have that choke. If they'll have that choke opened up on your gun by the time we come back in.
That doesn't matter.
But it would be nice to see how much it has altered it, wouldn't it? You know, if it opened it well up.
Well, I'll most likely get fatigued anyway. So.
Right.
But if I'm happy with quarter and quarter, I'll leave it as it. I know a half is just a little bit tight for most of what I do.
We have SC2.
Yeah.
Rank,
Yeah.
is these two and these. The other are pairs.
So anything with copier on is a pair.
All right. Okay.
And then as we come down, 52 for high tech.
50, no, is
Too narrow. Yeah. Just stop picking them off, Jason. Honestly, you just got to straight away.
No, don't like that one.
Right, that's that ruled out. So when you're looking at them like this and they're looking quite whitey looking,
Yeah.
we can spray some alcohol on to kind of give them a colour what they're going to come out like. You just pick them up, feel them.
I'm just waiting for something to jump out at me first.
This you, can you just...
This is a head fuck.
Yeah, Jason.
52.
Too narrow. Yeah. I mean, that's nice, but then you're going to have that real blonde bit on the side. It's just
I'm not mad on the
on this.
grain going that way.
Right.
I'd rather it straight lines.
Yeah. Some people like them quite like that because it almost looks like a stock.
Fucking too many.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I quite like this. The wide,
They like the wide wavy.
even though there's some lines going that way, but a few knots in it as well. Do they affect it anyway?
No, not there. It's fine at the top here. Yeah. Lay it down next to the other one.
Yeah.
Compare it. I'll put it down there. This is in the shortlist. What about that?
Oh, that's nice. Oh shit! Feel the weight of that.
Yeah. That is heavy.
That's exactly the contrast I really like. Is that too heavy?
It's 32 inches now.
It's what?
Just check the barrel length. I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not, it's not
32
like it's a 28 inch.
That's
Look. So look down through the top. This is just a bit of a guessing game, and then flip it onto its end. This end here. You're kind of guessing it's coming all the way through. What you have to kind of imagine is it's going to be ovaled out.
But that contrast is what I really like. But yeah.
Put it down
No.
there.
That one.
Sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Exclude that
No.
one? No.
That jumped out at me straight away. That's the contrast I'm looking for.
More than that.
Yeah, more than that.
Right.
Definitely this one.
Ditch that one. Maybe just spray it up on the other side there. Brace it up and just...
people know this, but the Italians that can express alcohol and that is.
Yeah, perfect.
Can I get a picture of that before it gets machined out? Done?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That was quick.
The other ones were all right, but as soon as I saw that one, that's what I was looking for in my mind's eye, if you know what I mean. I just love that. I love those black lines and that.
I mean, it's always a bit of a gamble sometimes when you look at them like that, because is it going to be all the way through? When you look at the end of the blanket, it looks like it's going to be the same on both sides, so you just hope it's going to come out as good. So they're just checking now, is the size of the blank okay for the length and the depth of the stock? If you look at some of them blanks, they were smaller.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cracking.
What a day, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's been full on.
These are only plastic. These chairs, they're not strong enough.
We don't seem to have issues.
No. Jason, how have you found it?
It's sort of, there's a lot to digest. There's a few things that sort of took me by surprise. It was very effective in its simplicity.
Yes.
Because you're dealing with people that take one look at you and more or less know exactly what you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
And that's what I was surprised about. It was like all of a sudden I was going, well, the first second Fabrizio handed me the tri-gun, he never changed the cast after that.
Yeah.
He knew the pitch by looking at me.
Some of it's quite quick, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was only afterwards I was kind of thinking like, well, how come he didn't need to fiddle about with cast, or how come he didn't do anything with pitch? He just looks at you and goes, boom.
Both of them tri-guns were in the middle.
Yeah, the tri-guns were like at 33 yards, whatever it was, absolutely spot on. So there's quite a lot to digest there, and it's.
So you had, very similar to my experience, you had two guns set up with two different sort of styles of stock, and you tried both. Nearly didn't try the second one, but.
Yeah, it's funny because we sort of had it in our mind that I was going to end up with a Monte Carlo, but Fabrizio was sort of under the impression that a traditional style stock with drop would suit me better.
What I like though is he doesn't give his opinion too much until you ask it.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. There was times we were having a conversation about it and he just stood in the background, and then you ask his opinion and he just goes,
yeah,
like this will work for that reason.
It was emphatic. There was no shilly-shallying about. It was just like.
There was 2 or 3 times he did that today. We discussed it. I have an opinion of what I like. I don't know if that's the best for me. It's just what you like. It's same with the pad. I like a flat pad, and we asked his opinion, and he went like, "No, where you mount the gun, you want a curved pad for this reason." And you kind of go, "Well, obviously you're right because you know what you're talking about."
It's a nice sort of quiet, old school expertise where it's not down your throat. He's not trying to at you, telling you all the stuff he knows. He's just there, ready to give you the information, and he knows his stuff.
I would say as well, it was great having you there to be the kind of translator between me and him, because you obviously have vast experience of coming here. You know, not to let them push a client into anything, and it would be very easy, I can see from today, to kind of get overwhelmed and to kind of get
out in that traditional Italian, real clamped in style.
You could easily get a bit flustered, and you have got the language barrier as well, and you could get a bit flustered and end up with something that isn't right for you. And that was great to have you there to kind of settle everything down, have a list that, right, we're going to start on height and cast, and like get them nailed down, and then don't worry about grips or anything like that until afterwards, and you don't kind of get all tangled up in doing too much at once.
I mean, it does go pretty fast. The bit that you kind of want to take a little bit of time on is the wood room. But that is just, you've got to draw the line somewhere, and you've just got to then just go, this one.
You found that a little overwhelming, didn't you?
I found it a little overwhelming because I had an idea in my head of what I wanted, and I didn't see it straight away.
Yes.
And there was 3 or 4 that were nearly there, which I would have been more than happy with. But I was looking for that one, and I actually thought I was going to find it. And then when we saw it, it was just like, no,
Yeah.
chuck everything else out. That's it.
Oh, you'd made your mind up.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that was might
yeah. But the selection of wood in there was incredible. Like everything you could possibly want.
You could lose an afternoon in there, no problem.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you start taking them into the light and putting oil on them, and you can see the different.
Some of the bits though maybe aren't exactly suited for the particular build that you've
Yes.
you've set up. You know, what maybe's mentioned in there was one of the blanks that was really, really heavy.
Yeah,
You know, and then there was some of the ones where you pick up and they are not just light in colour, but some of them are just light in weight. And you think, well, is that going to suit a 32-inch or a 34-inch or whatever you've picked? Like,
there's probably twice the weight difference in some of those blanks,
some of them, yeah.
which
I think-
is crazy.
Yeah, I think that with the stock style that you've gone for and the bit of wood that you've picked, I think you're going to find that the balance is going to become one for you, hopefully.
I think it's worth going back to the stock style. It was in the tunnel actually shooting the plate, where I found that the Monte Carlo just it felt fine and it shot fine, but the stock would drop just felt a bit more natural to me. Just felt more natural in the shoulder and against my face more than anything.
Is that because you've shot more guns in that style?
I've no idea.
Yeah.
Fabrizio felt that it would work for me, and he said it was to do with you have less contact with the back of the face.
Right.
Whatever it was, it just when there was a choice of 2, that's the one that felt better on the day.
Yeah.
And as you say, you have to make up your mind. Like, and it just felt better for me.
But I think time-wise as well, we obviously had them other 2 guys, customers first, and then you to do. Time just disappears, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So fast, and you're only here for a day and a half.
Well, I felt like I was taking too long in the tunnel as well. But he was like, no, if you need to
I
shoot
know,
more,
I
just
know.
keep
Keep
shooting.
going.
You only get one shot, you've got to
Yeah.
make your best of the time. And there was nobody behind you. You weren't,
No,
you weren't holding anybody up.
But again, it is nice that you do have that unlimited, it feels, amount of attention and time. And then as well, like discussing the reach to the trigger, he just knew straight away by looking at me, what would be right and what would feel right.
Yeah.
He did the same with me. He more or less just looked at my hand and set the trigger, and it was right. So I was like, all right, weirdo.
He has this nonchalant way of doing it, doesn't he? But he knows what he's doing, and yeah, it was a very, very pleasant experience. A lot to digest, a lot to look forward to tomorrow. I was very pleased that there was nothing shoved down my neck. It was very much like, what do you want, what do you like, and then discuss it and try different things.
We'll have to remember tomorrow, like, point out a couple of little bits of things what we're getting on the stock. We're getting no script put on.
Yep.
You're having that little bit kind of cut in on the
Yeah.
tweaks.
Yep.
Put in, and there was just a few little bits of tweaks we had.
Yeah, I mean that's when you're doing this bespoke, you might as well have it exactly as you like it. And
Yeah.
the styling pack on the high-techs, I'm not mad about. I much prefer the more traditional look of the MX-12 and MX-8 stocks.
Yeah.
So they just said that's no problem. We can make it look like that. So that's what I'm going for. And yeah, it was great that they didn't force you into having a gun that looks like
Everybody
a
else.
proper high-tech,
Well,
which they could do if they wanted.
Yeah, they could just say that's it, that is what you get. But
That's the signature look of the high-tech, but they were more than happy to do it exactly as I wanted it, which was
What-
really nice touch.
what checker style did he go for on the forehand? Because obviously you can a wide gamut of.
I haven't picked that yet.
standards.
yeah.
I mean, we're going to look at that tomorrow, but it's not set.
Yeah, it was just standard. I'm not too bothered about checkering really.
So tomorrow, I think we'll just get back there sharp in the morning again. You know, just an early start again, I'm afraid, and try and get there for just sitting, waiting for it to be finished.
Final fit tomorrow.
Final fit, which is just a little bit, probably a bit more to think about again, and just break it down into that. Again, checking the height, checking the patterns good on the board, do the grip, check the forehand, see what checker we want, and any other little bits, tweaks.
Yeah,
done.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been an exciting day.
Good.
Right, onwards to dinner and then bed.
Bed, yeah.
rock steady like.
That's just a tiny bit more cheek pressure.
And are you know, when it's difficult, but are you mounting the gun and putting the light like above the bead, like a figure eight, covering it?
Be right on the light.
Yeah, yeah. Can we see other side? It's in the centre. That one's marginally lower, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's obviously your first shot. Do you want to try just swapping that bead out with that brass bead or not? Or and it just gives you a little 5 minutes to have a little bit of think about them?
Yeah, I'd like it swapped anyway, so I don't know if it'll make a difference, but
Yeah.
to be
No. Please. Can we put a different bead in?
No problem.
Brass, but very,
No
very,
problem.
very
What
small.
do you prefer? No problem. But
Little-
not. No.
Little bead, 2 more shots.
Sì, no problem.
Oh, should we?
You want this?
Gold,
yeah, gold.
oro,
Small
small oro.
oro.
Yeah.
See, better, much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You happy?
my friend. Better is not
Grab a
possible.
picture. Any different?
Yeah, much more precise.
But if any different, you think in the patterns?
I don't think it's going to be higher.
The one thing I'm noticing is obviously this gun is 7 and 9 at the minute, choke wise, and it's obviously marked up to get changed to 4 and 4.
Yeah.
So it's still the tight pattern, which it's easier to spot on a pattern board, isn't it?
Yeah,
than-
it's
than
better
tight
for
choke.
just scratch.
This is perfect. One question. You want to change the choke, no?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he wants to hit everything.
You don't have the problem that
I just like open chokes.
F4 is very open. Huh?
Just like splitting the clays in half.
It's more for hunting than for clays.
I prefer long barrel and tight, not short barrel and open.
We'll have a think.
Yeah, one thing at once. So, perfect for him.
You want it lower?
If it was mine, I would probably lower it, but it's up to you. Only you can tell us what
Maybe
pressure,
6.
what pressure you're putting on.
Yeah, I'm not applying much pressure. I
Yeah.
could ease, like I can drop my head so I'm not seeing the bead even.
All right,
Like
right.
I'll show you.
Go on. Yep. Oh, Jason, that's flat, mind. When you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it again. Oh, that is
So,
flat. Yeah.
So I'm comfortable there,
Uh huh.
but I could easily shoot there.
All right.
I'm comfortable there, so I'm seeing what rib I'm usually seeing, but I could easily end up too low. on it.
So you're not jamming
no,
it in.
no,
that-
God,
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Because when I'm shooting, especially birds, like I'm never trying to feel much pressure.
Can we see the other side again?
It's what I ended up having to do with the Rosinis was putting too much pressure, and that's when they started kicking me. And I want to get back
Bumping
to
in the face.
yeah, I want to get back to it. Just especially when I'm shooting driven pheasants, it just touches me face and pull the trigger. That's I don't feel that I want it any lower.
Yeah. Stick with that one.
Like as I say, I can very easily end up too low on it just by a little bit more pressure.
Right. Mount it up again. Right. In here, round your hand here.
Yeah.
Do you feel any of that needs to come out? Does your thumb, is your thumb having to like stretch around the top?
No.
The fore end, this line, I mean, it looks to me as though, does it want to come down a little bit?
I'd like it there. I'd rather my finger there than there.
Right.
So I would like the line slightly lower.
On both sides. Because you can lower one side than the other, and you would know, you're talking mils on both sides, you would never know.
That side doesn't matter, but this side, just where I put my finger, I'd like it I'd like my finger there rather than there. So
Down
probably
a little bit. And this palm swell. Just take your hand up. Right. Any off of here, or any out of here, off of here, off or any out of there. Just mount it up and just feel it.
I'd like some out of here.
Okay.
I'd probably like a little bit out of there, if possible.
Permanent markers coming out. Yeah. And the other side.
Tickles.
And a forehand for a bit, and just take it down, Jason, just so I can explain this. I mean, this is, you've got to remember, this is like quite rough still.
Yeah.
Do you want this down?
Yeah.
The line a little bit below.
Line a little bit low.
Okay.
Maybe like 5
5
mil.
millimeter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
So this grip, I probably need to do it a few times.
Here, no? It's okay here?
Mount it
much
up properly.
pressure
Mount it
here?
up properly.
Nice. It's good pressure there, but
Okay. Now I'm working here,
yeah.
and after you try again. Huh?
Yeah.
Everybody's looking here, aren't they?
Yeah, just a little bit here. Right.
Ready.
There.
So,
It's nice when it come over, isn't it? Just saying, Jason, it's nice when it come over and actually got a bit of interest in there, what you're actually wanting to take out, rather than just being, you know what you like.
You could straight away feel a lot more control
Yeah.
with this hand when it's shaped better. Like I would have happily shot it the way it was in there. You know, you kind of feel, oh yeah, that's fine. That's just completely transformed the gun.
I don't know how you measure that. I don't know how, the height and the stuff you can do from a tri-gun and back home, but I don't know how you measure the grip.
Well, this is my argument for coming here, because you can only pick so much of what you like in a gun shop or when you're doing a gun fit,
Yeah.
and then you get it and it might feel slightly wrong and then it's too late. But like that was 90% there and I'd be happy shooting it, but I could just feel a little bit of pressure there on the thumb, and I just know that could potentially become an issue. So just takes 2 seconds to change it.
In checkering, we're just going to, what do you think in checkering wise is standard? Yeah.
Standard.
If you go coarse checkering, it's quite rough on your hands, and you can do all sorts of designs, but if you want to have a check, it's
yeah,
standard high tech checkering.
I'm not bothered by checkering, like just whatever way it comes. But I'm blown away by that. Like just in 10 minutes, the whole gun felt lighter in the hand just by shaping the grip.
As I say, it's just so nice. It comes over, he has a little bit of look, and there's an interest there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to have the wager on this gun, what the weight's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want some out there.
Yeah, the light said the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd agree. It feels like it needs something.
How can it miss for that?
I'll show you.
No, I think it's a bit up there.
Yeah, a little bit.
One question.
Okay.
You prefer little bit like this or straight here?
No,
Okay.
I think there.
Yeah, it's like a little, just so the fingers more. Yeah, just so it comes around.
It's same my pistol grip. I prefer like this. I have more control.
Yeah.
If here is bigger, like this, straight, you have the hole here, no? See? It's not good. Correct is here you touch.
Yeah.
Fabrizio, is your gun here?
No.
No. You've never seen a gun this high.
For the high.
Yeah.
So what does that weigh? £8.4. Oh.
That's what you're paying for, though, isn't it? It feels lighter.
Yeah.
It is heavier.
It's that as you sort of get to there. I always find that when I like handle boss or parties or something, it's as you bring it up to there, it just vanishes, like just the balance.
This is my stock. Okay, not this, but the measure is.
This is my gun, so this is 2005.
Ah, here.
Watch. Perfect.
It's like Ed Solomon. Thank you.
Can you tell any difference, Jason, or no?
I can feel it. I can feel it better, yeah. He hasn't taken a lot out, but you can feel it.
I mean, I like it round there, but my hand's quite thick, so I probably need more out of there. You think you've got like longer, or you've got like bigger hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look it, but if you needed any off the front of that grip where your fingers bunching up,
No, it's not
but
squashing me.
This will grip to keep a hold of your hand.
Hold on. The hand is perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't feel any squashing.
I don't know if I can get a picture of your hand from here because it looks like it's wrapped in pretty good.
You're happy enough with the hand? Yeah.
Does it just feel as though your hand fits in?
Yeah. There's no like even.
There's nothing sticking out or nothing you have to like stretch.
No.
Obviously it'll feel different when it gets checkered.
Yeah, that's.
Not much material comes off with a checker, but it will be.
Yeah, that feels good contact everywhere.
So here we are, it's all over. Hopefully a happy trip for you, Jason. We're here at San Frotoso Shooting Ground. Just done a bit of shooting this afternoon after second fit this morning, and then we're off to the airport. How do you feel it's gone?
I mean, the sort of first thing I'd have to say, as a gun nut and a shooting nut, it would have been worth coming to do it even if I wasn't getting a gun made, just to see the factory and speak to the guys, and watching the other lads get their guns done was enough for me. But to have the opportunity to have your own bespoke gun done, it just sort of, it hasn't really sunk in yet.
Yeah.
And I think it'll take a while. It'll probably take until the gun arrives and you start to sort of digest what you actually picked, and the little changes that the guys were making, and that Fabrizio, the stocker, and well, the fitter and the stockers were making.
Yeah.
It was just it was very sort of unique experience.
Day and a half goes pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, a day and a half goes very quick. There's a lot to take in. It could be easily overwhelming.
Yeah.
I could see that. It was very good to have you guys there who vastly experienced at it, just to keep me on track.
It was fun for me watching somebody else get it done again.
I think you don't realise how nerve-wracking it is when that second fit is and you're trying to shoot that pattern plate and not wobble and not pull the gun and just be nice and steady and relaxed about it.
Yeah,
And
fair
then
play to you,
ultimately
man.
you've got to make that decision whether that pattern's the right height for you and everything's right height. And I think breaking it down into different steps is the way to go as well.
Yeah, get certain boxes ticked off. Like, don't worry about the grip or any of that. Just get the height and the cast right, and the pitch. But to be honest, like, all that sort of stuff was
It's just
taken out of our
done, isn't
hands.
it?
They just
Yeah.
know what's
Yeah.
going to work cast wise and pitch wise. But I was really pleased that I wasn't being forced into something that I knew I didn't want.
Yeah.
I wasn't being forced into a crazy high trap gun or anything like that. It was just down to what I was comfortable with and what we were happy with on the pattern plate.
Yeah, yeah. It also, when we took measurements of your previous guns, like the cast isn't that far away, the pitch isn't that far away. It was just maybe the height is quite a bit
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's a lot lower, isn't it?
Yeah, and then obviously being here and able to speak to them about exactly how you want the balance as well. And they can just
Yeah.
alter the weight of the stock
Yeah.
just to get the balance exactly as you want it. I mean, to me, that's priceless, because every other gun you take off the shelf, the only way to alter that is by adding weight or trying to take weight away afterwards. But you can't beat having it in the finished gun.
Don't forget your duo was €10. we had a wager on how heavy the gun was going to be. And, you know.
You didn't take the bet. You weren't convinced enough of your own. But the other thing I was really surprised with was when they just drew, when I held onto the gun before the second fit, and they just drew around my hand,
Yeah.
and we chatted a bit about the grip, and I thought it was going to be a long process of back and forward, and literally 20 minutes later they handed it back to me, and it was within millimeters of being perfect.
Yeah.
They just knew what would work with my hand, and the difference was unbelievable. The
Yeah.
control you had over the gun, just with the
Fabrizio's eye is the thing that you can't replicate.
Yeah.
It's the ability for him to just look at you, and like you say, the other day when he handed you it with pitch, cast, it was all there. It was nearly there. It was literally just height we were sorting. And it's the same when he looks at your hands and he looks at like your reach to the trigger and stuff. He's just got it.
Yeah, that sort of stuff will only sink in over the next few days. I think when you kind of think, well, that was never even discussed, and they just know it. Like, they just knew by my shape and my hands and what was going to work.
I like the fact the stocker comes over to check that you're right for your hand, and he stands and watches you and just looks for your kind of approval. There's a bit of interest there, you know. He's not just away out the back for a fag or anything.
Yeah, because every time he came back over,
Yeah.
like, he was suggesting there was a little bit more shaved off my
Yeah.
thumb,
Yeah.
and stuff that I wasn't really sure of, and he was looking at it and going, no, we'll take a bit more off here, a
Yeah.
bit more off there, and it was unbelievably positive experience is all I could say about it.
I mean, Fabrizio was very complimentary about Jason's shooting, so obviously I'll cut that out of the film. But no, you seemed very comfortable in there, and it was a credit to you for your ability actually.
What was easy for you is you're very, very consistent in your mount, so we are very easy to fit for a gun. When people are not as consistent, it's more difficult, obviously.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember with shooting a pattern plate is it's more akin to rifle shooting than
Yeah.
shotgun shooting, because you can't. There's no movement,
Yeah.
and then if you pull the trigger like you normally would or sometimes would on a shotgun, you're going to input movement.
Yeah.
So I always sort of treat it as a rifle and try and squeeze the trigger, and that, like, we had really consistent patterns, so it was easy to see what subtle changes would make.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed it, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's been worth it just for the trip alone, as I said, just to come and see the factory, and the fact that this experience is already built into the price of the gun. It's a no-brainer to come and do it. Like, it really is.
As long as I can get enough customers together, we'll just keep coming and coming all the time.
Well, it's just looking at what it's cost between flights, car hire, food, everything. It's less than 5% of the value of the gun
Yeah.
to come and do it. And
It's a good way to put that. Yeah.
yeah, it's less than 5% to have a fully bespoke service.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't. It's just only if you want one off the shelf and it's a rush job. Well, you just need to invest the time in doing
Yeah,
it.
and it's not even much time, like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been brilliant, and thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Unfortunately, San Francisco apparently is Italian for a zone of infinite flies, so we're going to get out of here. Well, that wraps up our Perazzi coverage. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified of future videos. We have a number of fantastic factory tour videos lined up for 2023, so take care and we'll see you next time.
No, so that one's on you, and this one's on us. It's all right, I know what I'm doing.
Allegedly. Find out now he hasn't hit record or something.
See, now you've made me think I've got to go and check, you bastard.